Hello, and welcome to this preview of our connector, which is able to connect to SAP R3 with the same user that you normally work with and with all its user permits. From this tab, we can connect with our user and password into our SAP system. We click Login, and then we'll receive confirmation of a successful login. Once connected, let's explore this example. So here we can select an industrial plant, and we'll then choose the option we want. Let's select 1000. The system is now loading. So we just wait for it to finish. And then it shows the purchase orders from the chosen plant. If we wanted the previous plant, we simply reload it, selecting that one. How does this work? Well, what it does is to use a function that references the facility, the material used, and the number of a specific item, and processes all this information into a report. So let's now explore another example of the use of the connector for sales. In the sales sheet, we've got the organization behind those sales and the client. If we decide to change the sales organization to 1000, the connector starts reloading. What could happen? We might get this error. This is because a client for the other facility was loaded. So if we now select a new client, the clients of this facility are available, so we can choose one. Now we will have the sales orders, and it will automatically load the entire list of sales and the total values. If we want to change it again, first we select the company and it will load the clients, which, as you can see, are different. We select a new client and we obtain the orders. This is an example of lists, and here we've got another 2 examples of different lists in the other sheets, such as the list of employees, where by using the function getEmployeeList, we can appropriately obtain a reference to the payroll area. And here we can see the planned orders sheet, which are provisionally subscribed by the specific plant. And again, we use the function getPlannedOrders, referring to the plant in question. Let us continue by looking into another very interesting functionality, used when working in a report completely created by establishing the function getProjectAmount, which is the one used in this case. This is where we obtain these values that are loaded here, and here we've got the projects. At any given time, if we change one of these projects, the system automatically begins recalculating all of the cells. But we're not talking about lists here, but rather that each of the cells has a reference, or in other words, each cell will have a value associated with its rows and columns. In this case, it shows the value of the income for the month of January 2019 in this range of accounts. And in this other case, it does so with a corresponding range of accounts, etc. So if we change projects once more, it will again recalculate all the values automatically as shown. We can, once we've already built a page of this type, within which a complex report has been built, where we use detailed and specific formulas, some referencing to the very own spreadsheet, even to obtain percentages, we can use this extracted information from the connector to establish summaries and/or graphs of the state of our projects, our balance, our cost center, or whatever you would require. The connector would allow to create an existing function that, as such, it not only can be used to extract lists, as we've already seen, but also to create reports ad hoc that we consider appropriate and necessary at the time. I'd also like to make a remark in this detail. We've previously worked in this sheet, and we've shown how this is capable of changing from one center to another, bringing different values. This is done because this user, with whom we're connected with, has access to the value of both plants, the 1000 plant and the anti-plant. Let's change the user and enter with a user that does not have the permissions necessary for all the plants, so that it would no longer let us see the same information. We've connected with SAP now, and what we've got here is that this user will allow us to see, for example, the data from Antiplant. But when we go to the 1000 center, we'll see that it will show as an error. And if we hover over it, it says there's no data. So it can't be done. With another example where we can further utilize the connector, apart from giving us a list of all the purchase orders, we could release them, approve them, edit them, and in short, perform new actions on them through the connector. As you may have noticed, we've used various functions, all of them easy to use as they only have 2 or 3 parameters, and with them we've built an almost complete report. All of these capabilities can be seen because they're actually written here, and we can show them because it's transparent. For example, here we've got the code for purchase order items or sales order get list, get employee list. Please notice that what each of these functions does is to call one unique function. These are the functions that the connector has, and what it does is to call the very own standard basis of the SAP system. Therefore, it's not necessary to develop absolutely anything in SAP, and we'll still maintain all the permissions, generating reports directly on our Excel page. The connector has more options, such as the user settings, which we'll explain in another video with other alternatives. Thank you so much for your time.